There we go.
Is it working now?
Yeah, now we have audio down there.
Sweet. So how does that? That shouldn't have stopped it.
That's fine.
What is fine?
The positioning.
I can't see. How is it fine?
I
Or
mean,
how is it not fine?
the,
Oh, it's just me moving.
yeah,
Okay, but this is not working.
yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. We're working. It's working. Hello. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining me. How's everyone doing? Hi, Aries. Yay, you guys can hear me. We worked on this new setup yesterday, hoping to give you guys a better experience. Hi. Hi, Meg. It's so exciting. Hello. I'm blanking on Leafy Place's name right now. We know each other in real life. Hi, Julie. Hello. Okay, shall we get started? We're a couple of minutes behind already. Hi everyone, welcome to Botanical Woman. Today we're going to talk about where to buy plants online, specifically in the US. I'm not going to talk about imports because it can be, we're opening up like a whole new can of worms. So I'm just going to stick with the US. And so I made some notes. Let me pull that up. Hi, Krista. Sorry. It's been a while since we've spoken, or I've spoken to, yeah. Okay. So the main places that I thought of that people buy plants online is either directly from a nursery, meaning a place where they grow the plants and then you sell you're buying directly from the grower. And those places that I know of are places like Logi's and Steve's Leaves. And what else? And then there are secondary sellers. I call them plant dealers because they go to the nurseries and they buy the plants, and then they resell them for a profit. And usually a lot of your local plant shops will do that, and other people as well. And then there's Facebook groups and pages. There are a lot of purges or just the marketplace, and there's also Etsy and eBay. I don't particularly like buying plants on eBay only because I don't like the whole bidding war thing. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Okay, if anybody has any comments about the, am I missing any other places that I'm leaving out? So I said Facebook, Etsy, eBay, and directly from growers or plant dealers. Okay, so let's move on. I think before I jump into where to buy plants, I think it's also important to understand the risks of buying plants online. And I don't want to scare anybody off with this topic, but I think it's really important to talk about it because buying plants online, as much as I wish that it was risk-free, it is not. And so that is something that I thought that would be really important to address before we talk about, our favorite places to buy plants. The first thing is quality. I think it's really hard, and you guys can share with me how you think, about buying plants online, what the risks are involved or you've experienced. But it's really hard to see the quality of the plants, especially for places like smaller places like say Facebook Facebook Marketplace, where you're getting, you know, a photo that someone's taken in their bathroom and it's like dimly lit. And so you only really have the photos to rely on. And so from that perspective, I feel like you're not entirely sure what you're getting. But I think that, you know, buying plants from a reputable seller or dealer is your best bet. So places like YouTube is a good place to look for reviews. If you just put in like plant review, you should get a lot of, let me switch over and see what there is. So if you put in plant review, there are a lot of YouTubers, including myself, that, you know, have ordered plants like Harley G here with Gabriella Plants, and she's doing a review on it. So this is a great way for you to learn about, you know, what their experience was. But obviously this is only one incidence, so you have to take it with a grain of salt because they might have had a bad experience or a good experience, but this is only one experience. So I think it's better to just what's the word for it? Do more research on your own. And so places that I would direct you to are maybe some Facebook plant groups. So here, well, that's my Facebook. Okay, so if you go to, you know, Facebook pages or Facebook groups and just put in house plants, there are a lot of kind of forums, you know, modern day forums where you can ask a lot of questions. Has anybody sold this plant? Or sorry, bought this plant from this seller? And you know, usually people in the community are quite happy to give you, you know, their honest answer, I guess. Or at least we're hoping for that. And the other thing that I really, really want to bring up, which I've talked about before, is the BST Facebook page. And it's kind of like, just think about it as Yelp. So a lot of us will have purchased a plant or sold a plant to somebody, and we will review that person. And unfortunately, there are a lot of negative experiences, so that is what you will mostly see. But a lot of people do post, like, you know, positive reviews of sellers as well. So if you want, I highly recommend that you double check, you know, the person who you're about to buy from before at this group. So look for them in the group. I can't show you guys the page, so I think it's yeah. So you can kind of sidebar and Google it. Search for it on the side of the name of the person that you want to look up, and you should be able to find reviews there, or you can put your own post. Is there anything else I want to add to that, or anybody else want to add anything? Bidding wars are intimidating. Yeah, I do not like those either. Yes, some people do sell on Instagram, and I think that from that also people who are selling on Instagram are probably private collectors. So once again, there is sort of a risk there. So just keep that in mind. Yes, I have a tiny dancer behind me. Okay. Yeah, so the other thing I was going to talk about is you can also obviously get recommendations from people on Instagram. It is not as friendly in my opinion, so I would go with Facebook mainly and try to, yeah, either search for the person you're going to buy from, or, you know, just make a post on some of the groups or the BST plant review group. Okay, moving on, I'm going to talk about size a little bit. I think it's really important to read the description, because a lot of times I feel like they will put on like a photo of a plant. Let me see if I can find, you know, an example on eBay, which is really, really common. They will post a photo of a plant, but that's not actually the plant they're selling you. It is either the mother plant or an example of the plant. And so it is just important to, make sure you understand this is the plant you're getting. Like this listing, sorry, whoever this is, but like, are you actually getting this plant or are you getting a cutting of this plant? See? You're actually getting a cutting. And it does say here, it's a starter plant, which is good. Sometimes they will not mention that. So I just think it's important to read the description to make sure you know what you're buying. And if you're buying, obviously, a cutting or a rooted start or whatever it is, be ready to be able to take care of it. Um, just want to make a quick mention on pests. And you're gonna get pests. You're likely to get pests no matter where you buy a plant from. But I think it's important to understand their policy from the person you're selling it from, buying it from, because you get a plant with whatever mealy bugs, like I did from Josh's Frog, or I got a plant infested with spider mites from the plant farm. Like, what is their policy? How are they going to handle it? So keep that in mind. And quickly talk about shipping costs. Obviously this increases the price of your plants, so I usually try to buy my plants locally as much as possible. It also obviously helps with not having to deal with shipping stress. And great segue into that, because you should think about how much your plant will suffer being in a box for 3 to 5 days, depending on where they're coming from. So I would say Hoyas in general are, not all Hoyas, but a lot of Hoyas are going to ship with no stress pretty much. Succulents and cactus are also pretty hardy. I've had philodendrons, begonias, and ripsalis shipped to me, and they have also been pretty easy, like no major rehabs, except, if you, unfortunately, I have also received a plant in the past through the mail where it was already not doing well, and then the seller shipped it to me, and so it just continues to suffer. So you gotta be, you're exposing yourself to all these things when you're buying from various sellers. So, which is why what prompted this video is, so I want to guard you guys from having the same experience. So yeah, so I also think about where the plant is coming from. I usually try to say, I'm in Seattle, so I'll try to buy as close to me as possible. So like, to me, Hawaii is probably like not too far, so I've definitely ordered plants from there before. But if you live, say, in New York and you're ordering from Hawaii, that's a long way to go. And the plant might make multiple stops before it get to you. So you should think about where you're ordering from. And also the weather is really important. If it's too hot or too cold, you might get damage. I have actually tried to avoid buying plants over the winter, just because I don't want to deal with having to nurse a plant that I just bought at home for several months. Let's see, let's read the comments. Okay, so Megan is sharing. She also has her own plant page. I think it's called Plant One on Me. The BST review group has a do not trade sell list. Yes, it is on. I want to say it's in the documents or the announcement section. Yes, read the description. Oh, I'm frozen? Okay, not frozen. Okay. We shall try to proceed and see how that goes. Let me know if you guys are having issues. Okay. Where am I? Okay. Unfortunately, not everybody knows how to package a plant. I would say for the most part, if you're dealing with big places like Steve's Leaves, they will obviously have no problem. They package, hundreds and hundreds of plants every day. But if you're dealing with a small private seller, they might not know how to ship a plant. And it, how can I even say this? I don't know, do you ask the person, like, do you know how to ship a plant? Because it's just awkward. But in the past, when I have dealt with a smaller seller, what I would do is share with them my shipping technique and then seeing how they respond to it. Because I don't know, it's really sad. Sometimes people just throw, and this has happened to me before, but it was over a trade. She put a really small 4-inch plant in a 12-inch box and didn't put any stuffing around it. So the plant was just bobbling along across the US. And it got to me. And luckily it was a Hoya compacta. And as the name lends itself, it is very compact. So therefore it was okay. And it survived that brutal trip across the US. Because I think it came from either Virginia. I think it came from the East Coast. Anyway, it's a question that you should ask yourself. I'm not sure how to address it. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. Yeah, I don't think people are upfront about it either. It's just hard. I think it's better for you to supply them with the information. Be like, hey, maybe you need to like stuff the plant. But then sometimes they overstuff it. I don't know. There's a lot of problems. I will move on because I don't really know how to address this properly, even in my own experience. The other thing I want to alert you guys about is understanding their lost mail policy. I have seen Facebook sellers write out very clearly that they will not reimburse you or send you a new plant if the plant gets lost. And I think that that's honest, rather than, waiting for something bad to happen. So I think you just need to know how they're going to handle it if your plant gets lost in the mail. And it does happen, unfortunately. So just know. And then lastly, it all comes down to customer service and communication. And I think that, even with my instance with Josh's Frog, I got a plant, it had mealybugs on it. I wrote to them, I sent them photos. Not that they asked me to, but I just did. And they were like, no problem, we will completely reimburse you for the whole order. I was fine. So I was pretty happy with that as a customer. And the communication was pretty effective. So I would still go back and buy a plant from Josh's Frog. That was still a pleasant experience. My other example for good communication is the plant farm. They had excellent communication. I got a plant with spider mites. They told me that, just send the plant back and we'll give you a full reimbursement. I was not too thrilled about sending the plant back because I know it was just going to die, but that's what they wanted. And I did get my money back, so I can't complain. So I would say good customer service is really important. Let's check the chat. The poor Albo. What about that? Oh, wait. Hi, Rahul. How are you? Thank you for joining. Megan says that this happened with an Albo I got off of eBay. It broke the plant in pieces. They recommend taping it to the box so it doesn't get tossed around. Yeah, so either filling it with, whether it's popcorn or, paper, shredded paper. I've had a seller that like shred paper at home. They had a paper shredding machine and they just, kind of, you don't want to overstuff it, but you want to stuff it enough so the plant doesn't bounce around like crazy. So it's just important to know how to package a plant when you're shipping it. And I have actually done a video on this if you guys wanted to ever ship a plant. Okay, so let's talk about, so now that we've talked about all the risks involved in ordering a plant, and I'm sure I've missed some, but if you guys want to mention it in the chat, I will be happy to read it. How to philodendron. Krista's telling us that she ordered a plant from Plant Farm, spelled with PH instead of an F though. and they shipped me a wet stick and would do nothing even after sending photos. Really? That is terrible. Is this the same plant farm that's in Spokane, Washington? Yeah, so there's a lot of horror stories in buying plants online, which is why I thought this video would be good and educational. So now I think it's the part that everybody came for, is really talking about the places that I think, and you guys are, obviously welcome to share your experience as well, are the safest and best places to buy plants online. Um, Thinking about all the things that I just talked to you about. And to me, I think it's safer to go with a bigger name. As much as I love supporting independent businesses, as far as like unless like, you've had really positive experiences and this person has had really positive reviews, I just wouldn't go buy a plant off an individual, just, you know, anywhere. So I would highly recommend places like Steve's Leaves. Let's see, here we go. Yeah, so they have a really big selection. Plants do sell out pretty quickly. I just bought 2 plants from Steve's Leaves for the very first time. Packaging was amazing. There was no complaints. It was just what you expect a online buying plant experience to be. You place the order, they send you an email confirmation, they send you tracking, no questions asked. It shows up when it says it will, because they're just using USPS priority mail most of the time. And yeah, it was painless and it was awesome. So I want you to have a very positive experience buying plants online, so I highly recommend Steve's Leaves. The other place that I've had a positive experience with is Josh's Frog. Oh, well, we'll go to, yeah, Josh's Frog is not as well known because they're mostly known for terrarium stuff, but they do have a lot of plants, but also house plants. They have house plants, they have plants for people and plants for pets. So I think it's a trustworthy site. Like I told you, I did have issues with them before, but they were great about it. So I recommend them. I have never personally bought from Gabriella Plants, but based on other, just seeing on Instagram and on Facebook, people have had really positive experiences with Sean as well. So I highly recommend them. And Logi's. Logi's is a very old and well-known, just like Steve's Leaves, online plant seller. These guys grow their own plants, all 4 of these nurseries that I just mentioned. So you're cutting out the middleman and you're getting it straight from them. So a lot of times you will notice that they are able to sell you a plant at a lower price in comparison. Let me check the chat.
Just so you know, there's about 30-second delay on the chat.
Cool. I may be wrong. They're out of Spokane. Yeah, Plant Farm. Yeah, the Plant Farm, which I was going to show you guys, is out in Spokane. And I actually did. So it's the Plant Farm. So you can either buy from them on Etsy or on or through their website. But I'm sorry, yeah, both me and Krista had a negative experience with Plant Farm. But they came to the Northwest Flower and Garden Show, and I was able to buy plants off of them in person, and that was fine. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe don't recommend this place. I'm not sure. I think a lot of people have had positive experiences though. So Julia likes Logi's. Yeah, Gabriella. A lot of people like Gabriella. So I really like buying plants from the growers directly. It's not just for the price, but like I feel like, they care about their plants, you know, they grew them. So, okay. So the ultimate, my summary is like, buy from bigger places is just safer. And they, in general, like if your plant gets lost in the mail, for instance, they're able to compensate you, you know, really easily. Whereas, like if you're dealing with a independent seller, you know, they might not be able to give you a reimbursement or a different plant because financially they just don't have the power to do it. Um, so it's something to think about. Other places I want to mention was Plantarina is sort of newer. I'm not really sure if Plantarina herself, I don't know if anybody knows, is she the one that's running this, or you know, is it outsourced to somebody else? Um, but she does sell. She does have her own website, which I can't spell. Yeah, and a lot of people have been able to buy, for instance, the Hoya linearis from her for, earlier I think it was like $35 for a 4 inch, and now I think it's completely sold out. But Plants Arena is another good one. Um, I do want to talk about some of the more iffy choices, but let me check the chat one more time to see what people are saying. Full people right now. No, stop here. There. Don't say it, please. What? I'm confused. NSC Tropicals, I have not had the pleasure to buy plants from Enid. I understand that the best way to be able to buy plants from her is if you email her directly, because if you go to her website, everything is sold out. So you have to be put on a wait list. So that is, from what I understand, the best way to do it. Have I heard? I have not heard of anything, people having negative experiences. But if you really want to buy from Enid, I would, you know, do your research just like with any other seller. Okay, Logis and Gabrielle plants are hard to buy from. Either they don't have it in stock, or it's a mad rush. Yeah, a lot of, so Anna is saying it's, yeah, really challenging to get, it's becoming very competitive to buy plants. And this is probably true in no matter which platform, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or, you know, Logis. I think with Logis and Steve's Leaves, yeah, Logis and Steve Leaves, is actually best to put down your email, and then you'll get an email notification, and you have to have super fast internet to buy the plant. Um, yeah, I actually did that with my Steve Leaves order, because it does go, a lot of people, think about it, a lot of us are stuck at home right now, we can't go plant shopping, so there's just like so many people trying to buy plants, so you just have to act fast. But it's true, even on the non-pandemic times, it hasn't been easy. It's demand and supply. This is the sad world we live in. I have secret suppliers I don't want to publicize. Yes, a lot of people do not want to share their suppliers, which is understandable, especially like, you know, if you find a good Hoya dealer. I'm not going to tell you, no, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, I mean, whatever your prerogative is. I've ordered place now with Steve's, Brian Botanical. Wow, Julia, you've ordered a lot of plants. Andy Orchids. Yeah, so there are a lot of smaller places, which are definitely good options if you can find them. I don't know if I've heard of Andy Orchids before. Succulents, JJ Succulents and Cactus based in Oklahoma has really cool rare succulents. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so what is the other things I want to talk about here? I don't know. Okay, so Hertz is very controversial. I have not personally ordered from them before. I've heard not awesome things about this place. Mainly, I think because of their packaging, which is kind of sad because I feel like, they should be in line with Logi's and Steve's Leaves. But I don't know, I've heard a mixed review. Have you guys heard anything? So someone's recommending, Ralph is recommending JJ Succulents for Hoya. Am I getting that confused? Oh, are you talking about your secret supplier? Don't tell us what your secret supplier has if you're not going to share it with us. Andy's Hoya. Oh, Andy's Orchid. Let's check out Andy's Orchid. Yeah, so I was also going to talk about like some specialized, you know, I guess growers. So like, obviously Andy specializes in orchids. So if this is your jam, and yeah, Julie is recommending it. So Krista bought uh, Philodendron Malans from Hertz. Oh, Mikens. Yeah, I love it since you've. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so some people have had positive experiences with Hertz. I'm not. I don't know. I'm kind of on the board with them, but you don't know until you try, I guess. Oh, you can't find any on the site. Okay, Julie. Okay, so Hertz is one of those. I don't know if anybody heard of. No, I just did that. Okay. You guys heard of, and this has a really funny name, the Plant Whore and Farmer Joe out in Florida. They seem to have really good prices. I've never bought from them before, but I have come across a lot of reviews, and people seem to be pretty happy with it. So here's another one to check out. They also, I believe, grow their own plants. They're located in Florida. And I'm going to talk about one last one. Okay. The last one is Taylor Greenhouses, which you may or may not have seen my massive unboxing for them. They also grow their own plants. They mainly sell starter plants, so it usually comes in a 3-inch by 2-inch plastic nursery pot. And overall, I would say their plants are really, really healthy. Most of them are still alive, the ones that I got early last year. I killed a couple. But there's one big if. First of all, you have to make sure you read their website. But also, they 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 leave the right to replace plants that they don't have unless you tell them that you don't want replacements, and they won't do it. And the other big no-no that people are really upset about is that they often will mislabel their plants. And I don't think they do this intentionally. I had a subscriber tell me that they actually went to visit Taylor Greenhouses, and it's apparently run by a woman who, I'm pretty sure it's a family business, but she says that she does everything herself. I have no idea how big this place is. So it just sounds like she's overwhelmed. Um, but not that that is an excuse to mislabel plants. There has been some happy mistakes for me with Taylor Greenhouses. So it's not all, it's a minority because I think I ordered like, I don't know, 30 plants from her, and only 2 was mislabeled. But yeah, if you only got 2 plants and they were both mislabeled, that would suck. Megan's bought from, I'm guessing, the plant whore and Farmer Joe. Okay. And obviously, there is a whole world of plant sellers on Etsy, and I want to talk about that quickly. And Etsy to me used to be more about independent sellers, but nowadays a lot of nurseries actually are on there. And one of the ones that I've bought from is Planted Elephant, and they are based in Oregon. You can actually go visit. They have a couple of public days out once a month, I think. Well, not right now, but they did before the pandemic. But they are a good option. I have bought plants from them before. I would say that their pricing, I would, I think I noticed that they will price their plants a little bit higher on Etsy, and I think that's just maybe to make up for the cost. I don't know why they wouldn't have their own website, but they are on uh, Etsy. So they are a big nursery down in Oregon. Who else? Well, I already mentioned the plant farm, and we've had a couple of issues with it already, but they are also a nursery out in Spokane, Washington that you can buy plants from, or you can order them directly from their website. I don't know if I recommend, I don't know. It's hard to say not to recommend them. They have some issues they need to iron out. And then this one, California Tropics, has been really popular lately. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's these guys. I'm not really sure where they're based. I guess California. But you know, it has over 10,000 sales and great reviews. Do people feel over safe buying plants on Etsy? I've never had a bad experience. So I think until you do, you don't know how protected you are. But if you guys have experience buying on Etsy, I'd love to know. Rahul is saying, I find more Etsy and independent local resellers popping up. They're always a hit or miss, but might have access to more cool plants, but hard to navigate these unless there is social proof. Yeah. So Megan is also recommending. I love Megan being such a cheerleader. Spreading the love. Okay. So Megan also recommends Mayflower Nursery. Oh, cool. Looks like, oh, they got some philodendrons. We're not plant shopping, people. Don't do it. Focus, Christine. Okay, so the Mayflower Nursery seems cool. Oh, Legend of Monstera. He does sell his imports. And if you guys don't know, Legend of Monstera is also a YouTuber who loves his Monsteras. He has a lot of cool plants. Let's see how that's going. Ooh. Oh man, look at that pedatum. That is very, very mature. Look at all those lobes. Yeah, so he imports a lot of his plants from, I guess, Asia. I don't want to say Thailand. Sorry. I'm gonna go get water real quick. That's right there on the... I love my plant dealers too. My kids, from my kids' allowance. Is that an Etsy shop? That sounds funny. My plants allowance. No?
My kids' allowance?
Oh, right. Plants. My plant allowance. There we go. From Georgia. Do they not have any plants right now? Why am I not seeing this? Yeah, I feel like Etsy sellers come and go. So there's an Etsy seller, sorry. An Etsy seller that I bought from who stopped selling plants. I guess that's just how it works. Those lobes look sexy. Aeroid addicts. Okay. Oh, I want to talk about some niche, and this is not for everybody. Please know this. This place called, I really love it, but it's definitely not for everybody. Glass House Works. So, from what I understand, this person, which I'm pretty sure was a man, he, I guess, just loves plants and just started building a collection, and then eventually ended up like getting himself a massive greenhouse, or started growing his own greenhouse. But anyway, he has a lot of different types of plants, and he's not necessarily like, you can't think of him as like, you know, a person who just like kind of Steve's Leaves or Logis, where they commercially grow plants to sell. This guy just has, it's just like you and me, he just loves plants, so he just propagates, you know, what he can. He has employees working for him. It's growing more into a business, but it started off like, you know, as, you know, a plant lover's hobby. So the plants you get from him will more be like plants that you would get from like a plant swap. You know, they're bits and pieces, and they might not be in the great shape, but some of them are. So I think once again, hit or miss. But if there's a plant that you want a cutting of, or you know, just a small starter, this is the place. He has so many plants, it is crazy. I spend many hours looking at it sometimes, just for funsies. So I recommend it for good browsing. Here's another, this website I came across because I was looking for a variegated lipstick plant, and he apparently did a video with Martha Stewart in 2012, which seems ancient now, but he has a lot of really cool lipstick plants or goldfish plants, so if you're into that, this is your website. Let's see. Alright, bye Megan. Alright, let's talk about the last thing, which is where to buy Hoyas online. And it is slim pickings from what I understand. Obviously, I've already talked about Etsy. There are sellers come and go on Etsy, so if you have a particular plant in mind that you want to buy, I think Etsy is a pretty good you know, source for it. Once again, be careful and read. Another place that's pretty reliable but has more basic selection of Hoyas is Bob Smoley's. They have been around for a very, very long time, and they have a lot of plants, but they mainly sell starters. They are rooted, and here's their selection. So what you do is you email them. Well, no, you don't have to email them. You put in what you want, they email you back to tell you if they have it, and then you pay for that. So you might think it's available, but it's not. But that's how this really old looks like 1994, or when the internet was born. But I got a couple of good Hoyas, and they're reasonably priced. So Bob Smoley is a good one. Taylor Greenhouses also has Hoyas, so I'm not going to show you guys again, but if you want to check those out. And who's this? Giardinos, which lots and lots of people know about them. They're super popular. I think they update their stock every Thursday, is it? 2 p.m. Central? I don't remember, but they do a weekly, and they do it at a specific time, and it goes really fast. So if you want Hoyas from them, you're going to have to act real fast. What is it, Ralph? Is this your secret supplier? It's not a secret. People know about it. Oh, they've changed it to random updates now? Oh, I had no idea. Yeah, I don't actually really try to buy from Giardino's because it's just so competitive and I'm just too lazy. I'm like, whatever, you guys buy it. You can sell me cuttings after the fact. Okay, so there's Giardino's, okay, and then there is also rarehoya.com, which some people might not know about, but it is Ted Green. Ted Green is actually one of the, I guess, what do you call those people? He has Hoya. He's named Hoyas and he's discovered Hoyas out in the wild. He's written papers about Hoyas. Anyway, he lives in Hawaii and he has a Hoya garden and he sells cuttings out of his backyard. He is currently not operating right now, I think because of the pandemic. But if and when he does, he has a awesome list of Hoyas for you to pick from. You email him what you want, he emails you back, tells you he has them, you send the money via PayPal, and it's pretty straightforward. I would say that, I am going to say that his Hoya cuttings, because he grows them outside, and I don't think he uses pesticide, so they are a little bit gnarly. But if you can get it to grow, it's worth it. I have most of my cuttings survived, minus a couple. Okay, I've also gotten a tip, which I have heard about this place, Paradise Found Nursery. People have bought Hoyas from this place as well, but I don't have any experience, and they're all sold out, which is what you're going to find a lot of the time. So keep an eye out on them. I don't know if anybody has any experience with that. Yeah, Julie. Did you message me? Somebody messaged me about Rare Hoyas. He's not, yeah, he's not doing it right now. Okay, so there is Paradise Found, and then there's also Coco Ranch, which also sells Hoyas. Are they sold out right now? I feel like sometimes, you know, they're here just to torture us. Yep. Yep. Out of stock. So, I think you can email her. She is pretty, the owner of this place I think is pretty active on Facebook. I don't remember her name right now. And of course, we have to mention Rick. I think Rick is also a very, I can't really pull up his page because of privacy reasons, but Rick and Swiffer's Hoyas is a Facebook group that you can join, and I highly recommend his Hoyas. He's in Florida. I got him last year, and they're great. So if you're interested in Hoyas, you can probably either buy off of his post, or you can probably just message him and ask him, although he's busy right now because of the pandemic as well. Because he is a researcher for a children's hospital? Yeah. Or a microbiologist, I can't remember. Okay. Am I missing anything? Anybody has any Hoya tips? Sellers. Bye, Krista. I emailed. Okay. Any other places for Hoyas? I don't know. Oh, I already talked about eBay. There's a lot of Hoyas on eBay if you guys want to go at it and bid for them. Um, Plant prices are pretty crazy right now. I think the pandemic is just making everybody like want to spend money. Yeah. It's not only through Rick. Rick does sell. Well, he did last year. Like I was able to message him and he would send me Hoyas, but he might have stopped doing that. I guess it's really up to like how busy he is. And they're not all. Are they all auctions now? Yeah, I think he used to do a lot more of what should we call it? Quick fixes where you could just buy it on the spot for a set price that he sets, which is now. But I think now he's gone more through a auction model. Um, Margarita Hoya and Anna. Yeah, she's also in Russia. There's actually like okay, I have been following her because I've been thinking about ordering from her, and then more recently there was this post about like how she doesn't send your plants with the phytosanitary certificate that's required to import plants into the U.S. and things with like PayPal because okay, so let's talk about that. Like she asked a person to pay friends and family, I think, or pay if you so there's two choices on PayPal. You either pay friends and family, which you get zero protection, or you pay, for a product or to a business, and then PayPal will I guess you have some insurance through PayPal if you pay for it via the business route. And I think it's like a 5% charge that PayPal charges the seller. So the seller, Margarita Hoya, tried to push it back to the buyer, and they were really upset about it. Anyway, um, overall, I've seen very positive reviews on for Margarita Hoyas. So if you want to try her, I guess so. If you can, unless you can find it locally, I think she sells a lot more rare Hoyas that you may not be able to easily get here. But once again, it's coming all the way from Russia, so you take your risks when you do it. Yes, unsolicited plant talk. Yes, I have actually looked at her website multiple times and she's getting really popular. So things sell out pretty quickly. She's on Instagram. I think that's it. That's how she started. Ooh. Yeah, so you can put your email for update, but I'm not sure how often she's restocking. A lot of her Hoyas are in. I think most of her Hoyas are imported. Oh, somebody on the Facebook group was saying they wanted one of these. Oh, she's on Facebook as well. Yeah, I just know her from Instagram. Unsolicited plant. Yeah, here she is. So that is all the Hoya places. Hi from France. Is that Margaret in French? Or am I just butchering it because I'm American? Okay. Uh, Anything else? Talked about PayPal a little bit. Yeah, and we did dabble into like buying plants off of Facebook. I have been burned doing that. Once again, you're dealing with independent sellers, so think about all the risks that I talked about earlier, and I don't know, is it worth the heartache at the end of the day? Um, for me, the answer is no. Do we have any more questions? I think this is all that I had come up with to talk about with you guys. And I'd love to, if you want to, oh, in the UK it's spelled Margot. Okay. Hi, Erin. Actually watching one of your lives. Hi, Erin. We're actually, well, we're gonna wrap it up. Oh, actually, Erin, I know you've had really pretty good luck buying plants off of Facebook. I don't know if you want to shed some light on that. I was just saying that because I was burned so much last year, I'm not really interested in, kind of dipping back into that. It's just hard. Like just buying it from random sellers and yeah. Hertz is a hit or miss. Sometimes things are packaged great and sometimes it's terrible. Yeah. For such a big kind of, I guess, company, I'd expect better. Can I have more water, please?
With the delay, it'll be hard to talk back and forth.
Mm-hmm. Okay, guys. I think if we don't have any more questions, gonna wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any suggestions or tips of, that I left out, or you want to add your experience, please leave them in the comments below. I'm sure people who will be reading this later will appreciate it, and I will appreciate it. So I hope you have a wonderful Sunday, and I will see you guys soon. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend. Or the rest of your weekend, anyway. I think I wanted to press 2.